It's Saturday night. We are the NYXUS podcast. It is movie night. Mark from the Hathaway House of Horror, Keith from Nightfall Band. Guys, what's up? Welcome. Thank you for being here. What is it? This is like our second edition official.
Third?
Third, because we did the Halloween.
Third show. Third
Yes,
show, yeah.
yes.
Third show. Yeah.
Yes,
Second
finally.
official. Third
Second
unofficial.
official. Third with the three of us together. Tonight we're doing Christmas. Christmas.
With a twist.
Christmas with a twist, how it should be.
Right.
gonna be fun.
Keith picked the movies this time, so go ahead, Keith. Let him know.
Well, it was actually a joint effort because a couple of them I hadn't really thought about. So Mark definitely hit up Black Christmas and Silent Night that night. I was like, as soon as we started talking about it, I was like, Krampus, we got to do Krampus. And then because everybody loves Gremlins. Gremlins is a staple of history at this point.
Of course.
So.
Of course, but there's so many others that we could have picked. So
God,
many
yes.
other great
So
horror.
Yeah,
Horror
amounts.
and not horror movies, basically.
Yes.
We just stick with the theme, but there's so many great movies for
Mm-hmm.
Christmas. All right, you guys pick which one are we going in first. I saw all of them except Black Christmas. I didn't finish it, so I'll be honest right there.
Well, let's get
Okay.
that one out of the way so that you can be part of the
Sure.
conversation.
Let's go, Black Christmas.
The OG. The original.
We're talking about the original one, yes.
1974.
Margot Kidder.
Margaret Kidder, Olivia Hussey,
Hussey, yep.
John Saxon. This film's so good. It was so ahead of its time. Like, you know, from that opening into scene where you see the guy climbing up into the attic window, like the loft window, and then, you know, from there the terrorizing of the students begins, and you never know who it is, and it was so ahead of its time. Like, there's the whole conversation between, I want to say, Jess, who is Olivia Hussey's character, who says, "I'm pregnant and I'm not keeping it."
Yeah.
Can you imagine that conversation in 1974?
1974,
Whew.
yeah, and it's a Canadian movie. Which
And
is,
what was his
Uh,
name? Peter was his name? The guy?
Yeah,
Peter?
the boyfriend's name's Peter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
And
did,
he's
he
obviously-
actually did a really good job of portraying the anguish. Like I for a minute actually really did think he was the killer.
Yeah.
You guys know what the story is inspired by, right?
Mhm.
So it's urban legend about the babysitter and the man upstairs.
Yeah.
It's a series of murders that took place in Westmount in Montreal, Quebec. I mean, damn. Montreal is not a quiet town, but yes, that's what inspired this movie.
It's one of those. 'Cause it's one of those rare movies. It's so old. Obviously, 1974 is many moons ago now, but it holds up so well. You know, we'll talk about other films later that maybe haven't quite held the test of time. Black Christmas has held the test of time. I mean, there's two remakes. No, leave both of those. The 2006 and the 2019. Just don't even worry.
I
Stick
didn't hate. I didn't hate the 2006 one.
Did you not? Okay.
No, I didn't. Not as much as other people have. I mean, I get it. It's nothing. It's a far cry.
If you
From
had
what-
to, yeah.
From what
If you had to-
1974 was. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, for sure. And if you had to rank them, it would go 1974, 2006, 2019.
Right. Well, I don't even like to consider the 2019 one because
No,
it was
no.
terrible.
So,
I tried
horrendous.
watching it.
Yeah, horrendous. But 74 holds up so well.
Yes.
I did my usual sort of research to see what I could find out. Made for $600,000. Not a lot of money. Not a lot of money. I couldn't find out what it brought in, unfortunately. Reports are
You know,
too varied.
one of the things that I like about that film is that it's shot very like an Alfred Hitchcock film.
Yes.
I really enjoyed that because it was a lot more suspense than your traditional horror film.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I enjoyed the performances, with the exception. I gotta ask: do we know the first scene of that movie where Olivia answers the phone? Was that like the first scene that they shot in that film?
I don't know.
Here's the reason why I asked is because she was doing her crazy overacting, her like Audrey Hepburn voice, like she was
Yeah,
And
yeah.
when I watched that, I was like, oh god, is she going to be like this the whole movie? Because I just can't do it. But then as it went on, her performance consistently gets better and better and better.
Mhm.
Just that beginning, like it drove me nuts. Every single time I watch it now, that part drives me nuts.
That's the thing, is that I mean, again, talking about when it was made and the dynamic
Right.
of the world at the time, pretty much every female character in that movie is a strong presence.
Yeah.
Pretty much all of them, you know, in their own way. Olivia Hussey, yeah, like you say, different degrees of acting levels through the movie, but Jess is a strong character. Margot
Yes.
Kidder is really you know, don't
Good
give
old
a
Lois Lane.
don't give a fuck type of character. You know, who is this and so on. So all the female characters in that film are progressively strong women, which in 1974 was, you know, rare to say the least. And then you've got the icing on the cake, Lieutenant Fuller, the man, John Saxon.
Yeah.
What a man! That man has done everything and worked with everyone.
No, the performances, like I said, the performances were solid. Were
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely solid. Even the guy playing the quirky Officer Nash there behind the desk. Which, fun fact, I knew him from somewhere when I watched it, and I was like, "Where do I know this dude from?" And then it clicked in my head. I was like, "Wait a minute, he was that dude that was cutting on his face in Ghosts of Mars by John Carpenter."
Oh,
And sure, and I looked it up. And
same
yeah,
guy.
sure enough, he was the one
Is
that
it
was in the
really?
jail cell that was cutting his face open, and I was like, I knew
Wow.
it.
I haven't. I have seen Ghosts of Mars, but it's been a while. I might have to revisit that then. Weirdly, it didn't get the greatest of reception. Funnily enough, being a Christmas slasher movie, it wasn't universally loved at the time. Um, the fact that the killer is left at large, and that final scene, spoilers, in the attic, wrapped in plastic, didn't go down overly well. Gave me mad Laura Palmer vibes, just wrapped in plastic. It did actually though spawn, as we said, 2 sequels, but also a fan-made sequel called "It's Me, Billy: Black Christmas 2," which was fan-funded and can be found on YouTube. Apparently, I couldn't find it. I did try. My curiosity did get the better of me, but
You
I
didn't
couldn't
find it?
find it. No, I couldn't find it. No. I have no idea how old it is and how long, how far
Yeah.
back we're going. But yeah, I couldn't find it. But um, a cult
See,
classic if ever there was one.
I think that may be the reason why I liked parts of the 2006 one is because it dived into the backstory of Billy and his sister.
Mm-hmm.
And I did enjoy that. I was like, okay, now we're fleshing out like a little bit more of who and what and how this came to be from these characters. So,
Because you get nothing. You get nothing at all from this. There's no motive.
right.
There's no reasoning behind the 74 movie other than guy found a house he could get into and terrorize some students.
People,
That's
yeah,
it.
which is absolutely terrifying. That's a serial killer right there. I mean, that's
Yeah. That that's real everyday stuff that is terrifying. Like you say, you leave a window open or whatever, and there you go. Obviously, it has achieved cult status over the years, and it is considered the OG when it comes to Christmas slashers and Christmas horror, and even slashers generally. So, it's a massive thumbs up from me. It'll never get old. I mean, it holds its place deeply in my heart for this time of year. And it was a pleasure to rewatch this week. It really was. I probably watch it once a year, to be fair, for reasons. But it does hold a deep place in my heart.
Yeah, I think the last time I had watched that film was probably in the mid 2000s when the remake had come out.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the last time.
A little bit of trivia that I found out. Olivia Hussey famously met Steve Martin, Roxanne Steve Martin, the comedian, and she was very coy and very shy because Steve Martin was at the height of his fame at this point. And he said to her, "Oh, I love you. You're in one of my favorite ever movies." And she said, "Romeo and Juliet," and he's like, "God no, Black Christmas."
Well, I just found It's Me, Billy.
Oh, really?
I'm
Okay.
gonna send it to you, and also
Yeah,
they
please.
have announced Chapter 2 coming in 2024.
Okay.
So there you go. If you guys go on YouTube, I literally only typed in "It's Me, Billy," And
Isn't that strange? Because I couldn't find that. I
well,
wonder if it's a.
you know how we say that we're always getting listened to. It's like, your
Mm,
phone knows you think of something, and then they're like, "Hey, would you like to buy this?" And you're like, "Holy shit!" So you mentioned it. I typed it in YouTube, and it just popped up. So yeah,
it's weird as well. I mean, we've said about it before. Like, there's a lot of different streaming sites we don't get here, and also there'll be a lot of content we don't get here.
Right.
I'm constantly told by people, "Well, just use Tubi." We don't get Tubi. It's not a thing here. Our laws on data protection and stuff are too stringent for it, so we don't get Tubi here. So it makes it quite difficult. So it could have been anything as simple as actually YouTube recognized it. I was on a UK server.
that's
It's possible, I guess. I don't know. It's very
Well,
possible.
I sent you the link, so hopefully that.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah,
And
I'll
here's
definitely check it out.
It's Me Billy Chapter 2. So the epic conclusion to the Black Christmas fan tribute film.
Wow, look at the money they raised.
Look at it. I
Yep.
know, right?
Yep.
Wow, that's crazy.
People want to see
I
this.
love it.
Yep. So
Billy's loved. I tell you, Billy is a beloved character. He really is.
There you go.
Yeah, it's one of those. Like I say, it is a staple. It deserves its spot along many of the slasher classics, and yeah, it should be seen by everybody. The 74, at least once, the 74 original should be seen by everybody because it does hold up and it does still impact to this day. And that final scene is terrifying. The fact that there's just
I'm gonna go back and watch it. Like I made it about halfway through, and then COVID, kids, and all in between just got. Today I was trying to crunch like all the movies in one day. I was like, maybe I can make it. Maybe I can make it. And I was like, oh, I actually have to cook. I have to. If I wouldn't have to be an adult, I would have made it. But I had to be an adult.
That sucks. Being an adult sucks. I hate it.
It does.
Right.
When your kids start to grow up, they should actually shed tears about having to become an adult. It's worth it.
I know. Every time they tell me, "Oh, I can't wait," I'm like, "No,
Yeah, really.
you
Slow
can
down.
wait. Just take your time."
Just show them what you pay in bills monthly. That'll do it. That'll terrify them.
Right. Yeah. It already does. It terrifies my oldest one though. She's like, "Holy shit, so many bills coming in." Yeah, every month.
I don't think he's realized yet, but my oldest son is very much like he wants to help, and that type of thing. So he when he turns 16, he wants to get a job so that he can help with paying bills and like the household stuff because he knows that sometimes we have months where we struggle, and that just is what it is.
Yeah, it's reality of life. I mean, everything's so fucking expensive.
Yep.
Yeah.
But we make it through, even if
We do what we do. Exactly.
We do what we gotta do.
Any final words on Black Christmas, or are we good?
Yeah, I'll say one final thing. Margot Kidder. I just can't praise her enough. Obviously the one thing that I knew her from my whole life has been the Superman films, Lois Lane.
Not Amityville. Not Amityville Horror.
I didn't see that till I was older. That's the thing. Like I watched Superman when I was a little kid. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Where Amityville and that stuff like that came later.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew her from that, and then I'd forgotten just how good her comedic timing could be because she's been in like some fun campy stuff after Superman in the '90s and the 2000s and stuff like that. Even some Disney films when she was much older. And she had good comedic time in them. But I didn't realize that she had such good, she was funny. She was really funny in especially the scene with Nash.
It's a shame, really, because anyone thinks of Margot Kidder, they think of her later in life. Mainly thanks to Family Guy and other shows that have, made jokes with her. And yes, she has her moments. And I mean, she was ironically, I think she was like a psychiatrist in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Like, you couldn't make it up. You generally couldn't make it up. But actually, she was quite a prominent and successful actress at one point, at one stage, and like you say, Black Christmas, Lois Lane was a huge thing. Amityville at the time was huge. I mean, it hasn't aged well, but it was phenomenal at the time. So yeah, people forget that, and then like you say, because of social media and public outbursts and other things, she's kind of labelled one way now, which is quite sad. Cool. Okay, go watch Black Christmas, people. Anyone who's listening, watching, if you've not seen it, find it and watch it. You'll love it.
Absolutely. I mean, I like the first half I saw. I was like, oh, very slasher film. Like if you like,
It's a slasher. Yeah,
it is
yeah.
a complete slasher
It
film.
is a full-blown Christmas slasher.
Oh yes.
That it is.
It is.
Where you guys want to go next? I mean, Krampus. Let's go with Krampus.
Sure.
Krampus
Okay.
I love Krampus. I love the folklore. I love everything about it. Like I told the guys in our little messages there, we have a Krampus here. I wanted to go see him tonight, but COVID. So I'm hoping next weekend. He's actually doing pictures.
Amazing.
They opened the Odd Duck over here so we could go take pictures with Krampus. So I'm taking my kids and we're going to see Krampus. My whole town is freaking out because it's the devil. But, maybe they should watch the movie. They'd understand
Crazy.
It's not the devil.
No. Well, like I said in our chat when you mentioned that, people are just when they don't understand something and they don't properly research something, they do come at it from a place of ignorance, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
So I urge you to look at the backstory of how Krampus came about, because it was a children's story to help scare the children to be good. It's that simple.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you see the movie and you're a kid, it'll scare the fuck out
Oh,
of you.
I showed all three of my children, 9-year-old, 8-year-old, and 6-year-old Krampus, literally this past week.
Nice.
It's so good. It's the one I haven't seen the most of what we're talking about this evening. I'd only seen it once before, so to go back to it, I don't know why I hadn't seen it more. It's just one of those, I guess, it sort of fell through the cracks. But to go back to it was almost like seeing it for the first time, and I loved it.
I recommend watching it with your kids. I mean, it's one of those horror movie that you can actually watch it. There's no sex scene. There's no, you know what I mean.
I mean, even the horrors, apart from the odd, but it's campy horror, isn't it?
Yes, it's very campy. The gingerbread man, come on.
Oh my
God, that's the best part. That's all you need to know about the movie. Gingerbread.
I love
gingerbread man with a nail gun.
I love all of it. I love all of it, though. I love the crazy teddy bear. I love the Jack in the Box that eats children, which is
the gang of elves. The gang of elves.
Dark elves. Dark elves.
Gang of elves. That was kind of scary, but I mean, again, doing my research as I do, cost 15 million, made 62.
That's not
in
bad.
2015. That's good for a Christmas movie, and to the theme of it, I'd imagine quite a bit of that was to the fact that Toni Collette signed on. Because you're talking A-list, heavyweight. But Toni Collette, Adam Scott, who's decent. I never pronounce this right, but David Koesher, who will always be Champ Kind from
Anchorman.
Yeah, always. Or the guy from The Office, the traveling salesman in The Office. But yeah, so the cast is very, very solid.
The story's fleshed out too. I really like
the story. Yeah, the whole thing, the whole story. It's just around a 2-hour mark, but it doesn't feel like that at all.
No,
it doesn't. Yeah, it does. The pacing is borderline perfect.
Yeah,
I would say. Yeah, it does. That's the perfect word for it. It flows. It flows nicely, and it, like you say, when it goes horror, it goes horror. There's a few bits in here like, whoa, okay, I wasn't expecting that, but also there's the campier side of the horror, like you say, the demonized ginger. When the youngest kid bites the head off the gingerbread man, and it looks at him and it goes, "Rawr!" Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Yes. I was crying. I was sitting crying. It was so funny.
I love that scene.
I'd forgotten about all of that stuff because it's been that long. So for me, it was like a first watch.
One of my favorite parts is when the aunt uses the shotgun on the teddy bear.
That's brilliant. Yeah. And to me, that woman will always be Bertha from 2.5 Men.
Yep.
Yes. The woman from 2.5 Men, right? Yeah.
Yes. I was like, who is she? Who is she? And then the more she was talking, I was like, no, I love this lady. What is she playing? And then I remembered, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And she's she's hammered the whole movie. Like, she literally starts drinking from the minute they get there. She's hammered the whole movie.
She's hammered the entire time. I loved it. I mean, like, and then I'll say this too, like the actual costuming and things that they use for Krampus and even like the toys, a lot of it again they were using a lot of like really cool practical effects. There was some CG, in certain spots, but there was practical effects mostly mixed in with the CG, which again I've said it multiple times. It makes for a better movie.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. It has a kind of I mean, obviously it came before, but it has a kind of Five Nights at Freddy's and Willy's Wonderland feel about it as well.
Yeah.
There
obviously,
it is.
there was that. Yeah. So good, so good. I mean, come on, that is gold. That is absolute gold.
Even the sounds.
Yeah, it's perfect. And then he tugs on the chain and say, "We got one."
And he's gone.
Yeah, perfect. So good.
But those gingerbread men, like the way they were made, it's
so good.
Excellent.
But yeah, it definitely has a Five Nights at Freddy's and Willy's Wonderland feel about it. The bear for sure, and the Jack in Box and so on. But the actual Krampus character itself, the effects, like the outfit, the design of the Krampus is fantastic.
Yes.
Like even down to the detail, even like on the hoofs. Like they show the hoofs at one point, and it's like they could have got away with just having a full length, gown or jacket or whatever, and they wouldn't have to worry about it. But they've really gone all in. Yeah, 100%.
They went all in. They really did. You're right. They really did.
Yeah, they didn't have to really put all the features in his face and all the, you know what I mean? Like, just like the elves, it's masks.
Yeah, the elves are scary. The elves are actually scary, especially if you've got a thing about masks and stuff.
Yes.
Which a lot of people do, obviously. My wife hates white masks, for example, pure white masks. She hates it. So, but as I've said before, she doesn't do horror anyway. So I was watching it in the week, and she was upstairs and messaged me, and I was like, "This is amazing. You need to watch it. I can hear it. It sounds horrific." And I was like, "Yeah, it's great. No, it's great. It's worth, as I say, I can't emphasize that much enough. It's worth watching for gingerbread men with a nail gun. I mean, if that's not a name of a band, there, what isn't? I don't know what is.
Right, but
come on, someone, guys.
Those gingerbread men are evil. Like everything is so evil. I love how he jumps from house to house and how he rips that fucking chimney. Like no fucks given.
When he's chasing the first daughter, like when we first see him, when he's chasing the daughter and he's jumping the roofs. Wow. Like, you don't really know what you're in at that point, or I certainly don't remember what I was in at that point. And you're like, okay, that's, it's kind of scary. And then obviously from there it just escalates and escalates. But it's really good. It's really good. I mean, I'm definitely gonna watch it again before the end of the month.
I mean, it was a good first for Krampus, because how many Krampus movies do we have now?
Well, that was the question I was about to ask. How many are there? Like, I'm a bit of a novice with these, to be honest.
There's a few that I've tried to watch, and they're all pretty awful.
Like just cash in.
And then, right. Well, there was a couple of like B-level films that were made prior to this one, and those were terrible. And then this one was, kind of like Hollywood's version of it. And this was the first time that I actually truly enjoyed, the story. And there's been people that have tried to make it and replicate what they did, and have not had success whatsoever.
Krampus, The Reckoning, Krampus Christmas.
Terrible.
See,
Krampus Unleashed is awful as well.
Mother Krampus. They're all in like no time as well. Look at the years.
Yeah,
they've all been made in the case of like 4 years, all of them.
See, Krampus, the Christmas
that's never
Devil
a good
came
sign.
out before 2013.
Yeah,
so this
that's
one
never ever a good sign when that many movies are made in that short space.
Yeah, this one didn't hit because then the 2015 one. The rating on this one is 1.6.
Wow, that's what I'm telling
from
you.
my NDB. So
I'll stick to one then, I think. Anytime you see a group of movies made in that short period of time, it's never a good sign. Certainly not now, not in these days. I mean, it's different when you look at your Friday the 13th movies and so on, where there was one a year and you knew they were coming. But something so specific as a Krampus movie, which is obviously Christmas folklore.
That's every year. This came out, one came out in 2015, then 2016, 3 of them dropped, and it's like everybody was like, let me try to get this Krampus.
Well,
and
as I say, just shy of $62 million globally. Of course you're gonna jump on that bandwagon, aren't you?
Yeah, trying to get it was the cash in. That was totally what it was. I mean, think about it. Think about it.
Yeah.
You know, when Transformers came out, what movie launched right after Transmorphers?
Towards the way, yeah. 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 The one that I always go back to, the most famous one I think was probably about Armageddon and Deep Impact in the
Yeah,
space of about 3 weeks of each other.
yeah, but I actually enjoy both of those movies.
Yeah, yeah. There's room, there's
But
space for them, but
but I gotta give a shout out to the lady that played Omi, the lady that played the grandmother.
Yes, she was
the
fantastic.
German mother,
Yes.
yeah, brilliant.
Yes.
Yeah, fantastic. The whole
Fucking
cast
love
is
her.
superb.
Yeah,
Like
but
the
she
two,
made the movie even more. Like
yeah,
even
yeah, yeah.
being
Wait,
there, being German, the folklore. It's just
Yeah, being the only survivor of her family because she
Yep.
made
yeah.
the same wish that her grandson made.
Yep.
You can kind of tell, can't you? Like even from the very early sort of beginnings of it, as things start to turn, you know that she knows more than she's saying.
Yeah,
Yes.
You can just,
but I was gonna say I love that though, and then I love the point where she stands up to Krampus.
yeah, 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 yeah. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It really is. I say, I'm almost ashamed to say I've not seen it as much as I probably should have and give it the love it deserves, but that will definitely change now.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a good one.
it is, and even the end is very dark.
Yep. But I
It's very
mean,
dark.
that's the reason why I showed it to my kids. So here a little backstory on the reason why I decided to do this. So they were just all fighting with each other, right?
Mm.
Just one day, they're just bad. They were all fighting with each other, going neck and neck, and then they started using the "I hate juice" to each other. Like it just started going off, and they were just being just so mean spirited. And I told them, I was like, this you're gonna put yourself on the naughty list, and you're not gonna get any presents for Christmas. And they didn't really care. Like I was like, well, there's another reason why you should care, because if you don't, Krampus will come and get you.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Yeah.
what's Krampus? Who's Krampus? And I was like, oh, funny you should ask. Let me show you. And I'm not going to lie. The part that got them was when the scene with the Jack in the Box eating the child. That was when my oldest son freaked out. He was freaking out when he saw that. I don't want to watch this anymore. I don't want to watch it anymore.
And that's the thing with it. Like it's campy horror, but there's a couple of times where it really goes places that you didn't expect. Like you say, the Jack in the Box is it's like a snake, isn't it? And in how it's doing it, and
it
like
gets
I said,
bigger and bigger.
Yeah, just grows bigger and bigger. And the angel from the top of the tree.
Oh God, yes, she was vicious.
That shit is terrifying. I loved it. It was great. I genuinely, literally, I finished it and I said to my wife, I think that might be my favorite Christmas movie. And she went, "You mean after National Lampoon's Vacation?" I went, "I don't know. It ran it close. I might have to decide."
It's one of my favorites. I have a hard time deciding. I go back and forth with that one all the time. Gremlins is another one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I mean, Christmas Vacation is another one that's up there. And I don't know. I'm just so partial to Tim Allen's The Santa Claus. I've loved that movie. I was, probably 10 when that came out. So I've loved that movie ever since the first one. And yeah, that's got to be one of my favorite. And then of course Home Alone is another one.
Yeah, of course. Nostalgia pop. Full nostalgia pop. Yeah, it's
but it's up there
for sure. Yeah, it's definitely up there. It's in it. It makes. I mean, based on the watch, I'd make it top 5.
I heard
easily.
Home Alone, so let's have the ultimate debate: Home Alone 1 or Home Alone 2.
2. I stand firmly by 2. It's a better movie. It is.
I love the first one, but I gotta admit I laugh harder with all of the stuff that happens in Home Alone 2. The funniest thing is Daniel Stern with the bricks. It gets me every time. I crack up every single time with the.
Yeah, no, I firmly stand with 2. I think with 2 they kind of knew what they had and they embraced it.
Yeah.
The first one was so successful. They were like, right, okay, this will work. Let's, go again. Yeah, I think 2 for sure.
And you had some new faces hit that one too, like Tim. I mean, Tim Curry's the man. Let's be real. And I love Tim Curry. So having him as the concierge was his performance. His performance was hilarious as well. And then of course Rob Schneider is in there as well.
Yeah. It's although the first one has, depending on how you feel, may have some better set pieces in terms of how they get treated. I think overall 2 is a better movie. Personally, that's just my opinion.
1 and 2 are the best, and then after that is.
I don't think I've seen the others. I don't think I've seen past 2, to be honest.
I mean, when they change Macaulay Culkin and they bring another kid in, for me,
3 is not terrible. I've watched it with my kids a couple of times. It's got Scarlett Johansson in it, when she was really, really, really young.
Okay.
And some of the the slapstick comedy is very reminiscent of the first 2, and there's some really funny moments with those guys because there's 4 of them that he goes up against instead of just 2. There's 4 of them, and some of the moments, and there's a talking parrot that steals the show as well on that one. So it's worth at least watching number 3 at least one time. But I have watched all of the other ones with my kids, and they are garbage.
How many are there then? How many?
6. I believe there's 6.
Wow, really?
Let's see.
Someone left their kid at home 6 times, huh?
Yeah, because there's a new one that's out on Disney now, Disney Plus.
Okay.
Yes, the last one is Home Sweet Home Alone.
Yeah.
It's
And that's the Disney Plus. I have not watched that one yet.
Is that one set in the Deep South? Just play on words.
Home Sweet Home Alone.
Was it American Christmas Comedy? Blah, blah. I can't read fast enough. It's probably trash. I'm sorry to whoever might like it.
No, you're probably right.
That far in, it's probably trash.
Yeah, the 5th or 6th of anything.
Some of the fan stuff that's happened with the Home Alone. So the commercial that Macaulay Culkin did as an adult with Google and stuff like that was amazing.
That was pretty good, right?
And, yeah, it was awesome. And then there was another thing that he did. Daniel Stern ended up doing like a reaction to whatever Macaulay Culkin had did, and he was like, saying he's back. It was hilarious. You have to look it up. Daniel Stern embraces his Marv 100%. I love it.
Such a great character, though. I don't think that movie would be the same without the cast that they had for that movie.
No.
The mom, the dad, everybody's fucking perfect.
Yeah. Everything comes together perfectly in that movie.
Yeah, you have some fantastic performances, especially from Catherine and John playing the parents, and then of course you have Joe Pesci, the incomparable Joe Pesci.
And let's not forget John Candy.
Yeah,
yes.
The man, John Candy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, literally, yeah. It's a classic.
Well, you want some poker? Let's go.
Yeah.
Polka.
I love how she goes through everything that she needs to go through to get home, and she arrives about 20 minutes before the family.
Right. But she has one hell of a story to tell compared to them, though,
It's true.
I read, I know we're getting off topic, but I read that John Candy's performance, most of what he did was improv. Like, it wasn't scripted. Right. Most of the stuff that he did there, like the story about the funeral home, that was all improv.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised. The man.
I'm a big cat. Like, I'm a big.
Oh, I love his movies.
Uncle Buck was all-time favorite when I was growing.
Great outdoors.
Great outdoors.
Shooting the bear scene to this day, I stop breathing when I laugh so hard. It's ridiculous. Like I'm a grown man laughing at a bear having its butt shot.
The raccoons. The raccoons. This joke at the very end too. Oh my god.
That bit's great.
She's bald on both ends.
And then tying it full circle back to Steve Martin, who we talked about earlier, Planes, Trains, Automobiles. Yep. Where are your hands? Between 2 pillows. That's not pillows. Come on, that's gold. Gold.
I love it.
Gold.
Some of the best comedy, man.
Yeah, so good. Okay, moving on then from Krampus and John Candy's filmography. Silent Night, Deadly Night. Whew. This film is aged. This film is aged.
There's a lot of cheesiness in that film, but there's also some moments that like literally made me go, "What the fuck did I just watch?"
Yeah, for sure. The whole that opening sequence alone is like, "What the hell am I doing? What is this?"
I'll be honest. I watched it and I was like, "What the fuck have they watched? Like, what are they making me watch?"
Hey, we didn't make you watch the second one, believe me.
But it's not bad. Like, put yourself in the time frame of when the movie
you have to take the time into effect, in terms of the budget and so on and everything else.
At the same time, though, a lot of movies from that era have aged well, and this one did
Yeah,
not.
it's true.
Yes.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
True.
So you have to be devil's advocate on that.
I mean, it was made for just under $700,000, and it made. Bear in mind how much of an issue it was getting it released in parental groups, in boycotting it, and demanding it be ripped from theaters, and everything that went along with it. It still made just shy of $3 million.
Oh, all right.
So on a 700 grand, on a $700,000 budget, with literally parent groups protesting theaters with signs up. Yet a year prior, Christmas Evil, no problems.
Well, if you
Not
look,
that I'm saying
the
you should
first,
watch Christmas Evil. Don't
the
don't
first
get me wrong.
40 minutes was kind of a waste of time. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like,
With the exception of the opening scene, which kind of set up for his PTSD, because that's what that was.
yes, but
Yeah,
after
yeah, the whole-
that,
yeah.
after that opening scene, it's
Yeah.
like
It was a waste. They could have
okay, make him grow up. We understand he has trauma, PTSD, but then it's important because you got to see the nun because then the end of the movie, and so
See-
I kind of get it, but
Right. I mean, they could have gone straight to him being older and then done flashbacks of the childhood instead of the way that they went about it. Because going to the moment where he started, with what he was like, 8, 9, 10,
Eight,
somewhere.
he's eight. He's eight.
Eight.
At the beginning. Yeah.
Right. I mean, I get it. I think what they were. I think whoever wrote that movie probably had some PTSD themselves when it comes. They're probably Catholic and they were probably mistreated by nuns during school.
yeah.
And that's the reason.
The movie is an advertisement for trauma and PTSD.
Yeah.
The whole thing is,
Yeah.
clearly in 1984 or made in 83, I'm guessing. Those were words that weren't bounded about, but you have to have the two segments because obviously you have the opening, which is horrendous. Let's be fair, it is. But if you don't have the orphanage stuff as well when he's young and the way he's treated there, you don't get the catchphrase, which is obviously punish.
Yes.
He runs around for 40 minutes screaming punish on a murder spree, and that's because Mother Superior believes that punishment is the will of God.
Yeah.
So it's some deep stuff when you think about it. I mean, it hasn't aged well. It's cheesy as all hell, to be fair. By today's standards, but at the time, politically and
That's probably why it did as well as it did. Is because
Yeah.
of the fact that it was being boycotted. Because let's face it, when
Yeah.
parents boycott stuff, what happens? Kids are like, "Oh, I gotta see
I'm
it."
watching that. Yeah, exactly. No. I mean, it's not particularly well made. It's not no disrespect to anyone involved. It's not particularly well shot. It's a B movie. It's a B movie. Let's call it what it is.
What's that scene where he kills the guy with the Christmas lights? I mean, he's just fucking holding him up like that with the Christmas. He's got super straight all of a sudden, and the Christmas lights are making the guy bleed from the neck. And my head was like, okay, this is not computing. It's not matching up. But the movie itself is like you said, it's a great movie if you watch the story. If you pay attention to the story.
That was some great Christmas barbed wire they had going on.
The one kill I will always give it credit for. The one kill that I still think does stand up is the axe versus the bobsled.
Yes,
That's a great scene.
Yeah.
That scene's well shot. It adds depth. That scene holds up when the rest of the movie doesn't so much. Interestingly, if you look at the cast, it was virtually nobody's. To be fair, with the exception of horror royalty Leanna Quigley, who died very quickly with her boobs out, which is essentially how she made a career. Every film that woman, if you look at Leanna Quigley's filmography from 1979 on, she's topless in every movie, and more often than not, she got the role because other actresses wouldn't go topless. So I think she plays Diane in this, and she's the girl that gets impaled on the reindeer antlers.
if that's her thing, that's her thing.
Hey,
But that was a beautiful death. That one I agreed to.
That's
I was like, that's not like I'm choking. The guy's holding him. I'm sorry. I'm shook by that one. But the one impaled with the deer, I mean, this was brilliant.
That's great, and the sled one's really good.
Yes.
But you've literally got he's meant to be 18 at that point, and he's running around like Jason in a in a Santa Claus outfit, just
Santa Claus, yeah.
super strong, screaming punish left, right, and center. I kind of love it. I'm not gonna lie, I do kind of love it, but not for any good reasons other than it's very nostalgic. I mean, 1984. That was made 10 years after Black Christmas, which was
Sometimes
I see
it's not even.
Silent Deadly Night 2, 3,
Oh yeah,
4, and
there's a whole
5.
bunch.
There's loads. The second one centers around his younger brother.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's famous for one scene. And it's terrible. One of them is about witches. I think it's called Initiation, Silent Night, Deadly Night Initiation, or something like that. And there's another one which still stars Bill Moseley, bless him. And he escapes from a mental hospital, and his brain is in a jar. I don't know. Again, I watch this stuff so you don't have to. You don't have to watch it. That's why I'm here.
I thought about watching the sequel, and I'm glad that I did not.
We definitely gotta do one of our months has to be like fucked up movies like that,
like the worst of the worst.
The worst of the worst. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Skyline. If we do that, my pick is Skyline. It's the worst science fiction film I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh, I think I've seen that.
There you go.
No.
We saw it in theaters thinking it might be cool, and it was like it was the worst thing I've ever seen.
I think I'm gonna use that month as payback and make you guys watch Glitter with Mariah Carey.
Oh my god! Why? No, that is truly horrific. Glitter followed by Showgirls. How's that be?
Oh, Showgirls! Oh my god. I only loved that movie when I was younger because that's the only way I could see titties in a way. So. And now I watched it older as an adult and I was like, oh wow, this is trash.
The sad part is I have seen that movie on several occasions throughout my life. Yes, I have.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I know all the people in there. You got, Elizabeth Berkley, Jesse Spano from Saved by the Bell. You got Gina Gershon, who, honestly, my favorite role of hers comes in Face Off, where she played Castor Troy's girlfriend.
Yeah.
Love that film. But then you've also got, I don't know the actor's name, but the guy that dances with Elizabeth Berkley. He was the dude in Speed that he takes his car and he crashes it into the water, the water jugs. My brain makes weird correlations like that.
Yeah,
and then of course
a lot of stuff. He's a very famous character actor.
Right, and then you have of course Kyle MacLachlan, who MacLachlan. He's Paul Atreides from the original Dune in the 1980s, and then in more recent years he's the captain in How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I remember seeing Showgirls, which to be fair is technically horrendously horrific, so it counts. I remember seeing it, and I'm a big Twin Peaks guy. I love Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks was my thing when I was around that age, so I was all on board for Twin Peaks. I'd seen Blue Velvet, and I was like, "What the hell is this? Like, this film is a trip." Then I found out that they were bringing Twin Peaks to TV, and it was going to be from the same guy that made Blue Velvet. And I was like, "Wow, this guy's going to mess TV up as well." So I was all on board with Kyle MacLachlan, and then I saw it. And even I'm going to upset a lot of people now. Ready? Even the original Dune isn't great.
No,
it's not.
The
first part's terrible.
No, they bastardized the story. I listen. Yeah. I have read pretty much every Frank Herbert book there is. I can get my hands on because I absolutely love his writing. And I think in this house, "Fear is the mind killer" is an actual phrase that we use in this house, which comes directly from Dune. The only thing that I absolutely adore in that movie that they changed from the original story is the weirding modules that they use that uses his voice to blow up stuff. I thought that was cool.
I'm not even gonna lie. I don't remember that. It's been a long time. I just remember it not being great. I've not seen the new ones. I've not watched the new versions.
The new version, they're doing it in two parts. So the new version is just the first half of, which is the way it should be done, by the way. But it's two parts. So the first part was the not like the more boring part. They did good with it. What I'm looking forward to is part 2 that should be coming out in 2024. That's gonna blow people away because that's the part of the story that is very action-packed, intriguing, all the events that happen are kind of crazy. So I'm really looking forward to the sequel to the first
Okay.
part of it.
I'll give it a go. I think based on
Yeah,
that. I mean, yeah. The it's Timothy Chalamet and
and he does.
Zendaya, is it as well?
Yep, Zendaya, and then you've got Skarsgård there playing the Baron, which the Baron is what makes that movie because he is the villain. Like without him, you don't really have much of an antagonist. But Stellan is an amazing actor, and I absolutely love his portrayal of the Baron that he's done so far.
Okay, that's good enough for me to give it a watch. Yeah, it's one of those that the original is. It's almost like. Going to upset even more people now. It's almost like the 1990 TV version of it. It's terrible.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
But
Tim Curry's amazing in it.
Yeah,
Tim Curry's amazing in it. It's terrible. And just to show that there's method in my madness, Olivia Hussey's in it. Who did we talk about right at the start of the show?
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, it's terrible. You rewatch it now. It's terrible. It is terrible.
That does not hold up at all.
No, it doesn't. And the same. Not to the same extreme, not to the same level, but the same almost applies to Salem's Lot.
Yeah.
Salem Lot is not. We should definitely do a Stephen King night.
Yeah, I agree.
That would be great.
I agree.
Yeah, that would be cool. Okay, we have to come up with a schedule for next year at this rate.
Of the older stuff, like the 80s and like 90s, I think the one that I've enjoyed the most that I've rewatched multiple times is probably the miniseries of The Stand.
Yes.
I love the one with Gary Sinise, Rob Lowe, and all of that. That's amazing.
Yes, as you say, Mark, we're going to have to... What I'm thinking is from now... I mean, this week, whenever you guys are available, we can have a little call or something and then set a schedule for the next, maybe 3 months. You know what I mean? Good. We'll go with 3 months. I know, Keith, you said that your schedule changes every so often. So, at least... That's good. Give us some time to pick in advance for the movies, and we can just it'll give me more time to fucking watch everything.
Right.
Because they're like, yeah, well, let's watch this movie. Oh, I've seen it a million times, and I'm like, fuck, I've never seen it. So.
you may have seen Event Horizon by then, huh?
Right. Well, that one's special. The Event Horizon has to be.
That is special. That's its own viewing.
I have to watch it.
That's got to be a watch along.
And reaction.
Keith, I have to put my camera on and give him the reaction.
I think we should do a watch along. I think a watch along might have to be in order if we can do that.
I mean, we could all watch it together. The way we're watching now, I can screen it and put the movie right there.
Oh, that's perfect.
So we could do that with a lot of the movies.
We could.
Going further, like we could take a one night and say, okay, let's have a night to watch this movie all together. And we could do it the family thing. All right, we'll set that up after.
Cool.
So,
okay. Last but not least, getting back on track. We just go off on a tangent a little bit, don't we? Always, actually, yeah. So last but not least is a bona fide Christmas classic, an iconic movie in every sense of the word, Gremlins.
I mean, what a movie.
I watch it all the time.
Yes, same.
So
I'm not gonna lie, as stupid as it is, I watch the second one all the time.
I don't mind the second one. The second one's
fun.
It's silly.
It's silly and fun. I love this. I love the smart gremlin. I love the smart.
Weirdly, I like the what's the word I'm looking for? It's gone. The word's gone completely for me. The flasher.
Oh God!
Like why? I don't understand why that would happen, but it's hilarious. The smart one's great as well. If you saw it in the theaters. You've got the scene within a scene, like movie within a movie stuff with Hulk Hogan. I don't know if you guys have that version here. We didn't have that here. If you buy it on Blu-ray or DVD or whatever here, you don't have that. But in the theaters when it came out, there's a scene within a scene. So it's like a movie within the movie, and it's Hulk Hogan in the Tower Cinema watching Gremlins 2, and then the Gremlins attack him. It's very strange. I don't understand. It makes very little sense. So it's a good job. It makes sense to have cut it, but it's only in the theatrical release. I bet you can probably find it on YouTube, right?
She's
Yeah.
looking at it
I
right
said,
now. That's
it's not. Yeah, it's not
hilarious.
uncommon. It's not an uncommon thing. It didn't make.
Let's see.
Was that Christopher Lee?
Yes, he played the one of the
Wow,
scientists.
I forgot Christopher Lee was. Yeah. So that's ridiculous, isn't it? It's so funny.
I fucking love this shit. Oh, how can you not love this fucking
I know, right?
movie?
Yeah, it's what's not to love.
What's up, Sarah?
Hey, Sarah.
Hey, Sarah.
We're looking to see if we can see that scene with Hulk Hogan.
Sir! I can't believe this. I mean, this is worse than the first one.
We just show these movies, madam. We don't make them.
That is so meta.
Yeah, it really is. Like, it's ridiculously meta.
Those things have taken over the projectors. They refuse to show the rest of the film. All they want to see is Snow White, the Seven Dwarfs.
There he is.
We have gremlins in the projection. Gremlins in this theater now.
He's got his belt on. He's got his actual
Hey
wrestling
guys,
belt on.
listen up. People pay good money to see this movie.
Oh my
Yes,
god.
I've seen this. Yes.
They want cold sodas, hot popcorn, and no monsters in the projection booth. Do I have to convince myself? Do you think the Grimsters can stand up to the hoster? Well,
The
if I were
Grimsters.
you, I'd run the rest of Gremlins too, right now. Sorry, folks. It won't happen again.
See? How meta is that? But how ahead of its time was that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Crazy.
That's great. That's
Now
fucking...
on let's say on Blu-ray and DVD, you don't get that. That scene's not included apparently, or it certainly wasn't here anyway.
It's a
Um,
Christmas favorite all around. Definitely all
yeah.
around.
Doing some research as I do, this made so much money. So this came out in 1984, same year as Silent Night, Deadly Night, same year. Bear that in mind. Made for $11 million, so not cheap by any means, certainly for the time. Brought in $213 million globally.
yeah, well, do you know who wrote the script? Chris Columbus.
Original, was that right? I didn't know that. Okay, because it was
Yeah.
directed by Joe Dante, wasn't it? Who went on to do
Yes.
various things. But yeah, I mean, it made so much. I had no idea it made that much money. I'll be honest. I mean,
It's still making money today.
yeah, for sure.
So much.
Right.
It's more than a cult classic at this point.
I go to the store the other day. We went to Walmart, and there it is.
Oh, they
Fucking
have all the-
Mogwai.
Yeah, they have all like the Gremlins, like
Yeah.
the NECA toys and stuff like that now.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
originally, the original screenplay was for Gizmo to become Stripe. Gizmo was
I'm
going to
glad they
become
changed
Stripe
that.
and be the villain, but when they showed it to test audiences, obviously everyone fell in love with Gizmo, so they had to change it.
Yeah.
Interestingly as well, if it wasn't for Steven Spielberg, Zach Galligan wouldn't have been cast. He wasn't a favorite, but Spielberg used a bit of Spielbergian power, I guess, and pushed it through. The other two names that were actually in the running were Emilio Estevez and Judd Nelson.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
the
you
Breakfast
know-
Club versus the Gremlins, basically, I guess.
Yeah, I can't see Emilio Estevez in that role
No.
at all.
No.
And ironically, this shows you how different the world is now. They were against Phoebe Cates taking the role because they thought that her role in Fast Times at Ridgemont High was considered too racy.
I mean, it was.
Oh, wow.
For the time.
So yeah, it cleaned house. You know, it won awards left, right, and center. I mean, it
had a great cast.
It made a fortune. I had no idea. I mean, I knew it was iconic.
What are the
I had-
three rules, guys? What are the
Three rules for the
rules?
Gremlins: no direct sunlight, they'll kill it,
never feed after midnight and don't get them wet.
and don't get them wet.
Absolutely.
But they I mean, where's the trilogy, huh? When are they gonna finish it?
I know.
I was just,
No, they
just
announced.
looking.
They announced that they're attempting. I know it's in the works.
There is
I mean-
one called Gremlin 3, a sequel to Gremlin 1984. Where
An official sequel? Is this an official one?
it's
Or is it fan?
It's on IMDb, but
With the
there's
greatest
no
respect, I can't imagine Zach Galligan's not
uh,
needed to work.
writers would be Chris Columbus and Carl Ellsworth. That's so far that's the information I can find.
Okay. I mean, it's been a very long time now, isn't it? I don't even know what year Gremlins 2, the new batch, came out. It would have been hot on the heels of the first one just because they would have wanted to strike while the iron was hot. But
They did 1 and 2. You know what I mean? What could, at one point the Gremlins are awesome. The Mogwai is super cute, but there's just so much story you can,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
Even now,
it's-
I'm thinking as the third one, what can they do?
Yeah, it's in
Like,
development.
Yeah,
That's
there
it.
you go.
That's, they just have it in development.
yeah.
I mean, as I said, I knew it was successful. I knew it was a staple, but I had no idea it made that much money.
No,
Not a clue. I had no idea. Yeah, it's it's universally loved. I mean, rightly so, of course. And again, it's another one where it's a family-oriented movie, but when it goes to that darker place, it goes there.
yeah.
Yes.
Joe Dante doesn't mess around. Like the guy has made horror his whole career, pretty much. So,
I mean, I
it's
watched it with my nephews, and I think it's a good movie to introduce to your kids. Like, my nephew was what, 8?
Yeah.
One was 6, the other one was 8 when we watched it. The 8-year-old was all right. The 6-year-old was like, it's kind of scary.
very much, yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna lie. That's like people
My
are.
kids love it.
There's a
I
couple-
love when they put them in the blender and stuff, and you know what I mean. And my nephew was like, what the fuck?" I was like,
No,
"Oh,
no.
it's cool. It's cool."
I hate to say this because I don't know, but I'm gonna say it. My 9-year-old, like a year or two, like I showed it to him, like I want to say like 1 to 2 years ago, something like that. When Mrs. Deagle got killed, being thrown out the window by the
It's on the stair lift, right?
Stair lift.
Yeah.
Yes.
He literally said that she deserved that.
I think we should maybe invite him on. I think he'd get on just fine with the rest of us.
I was like, don't wish anybody dead. What's wrong with you?
I saw that movie and I saw that scene, and then I went to my music teacher, and my music teacher was in a wheelchair, and she had one of those things to go up and down, and she was like, "How about you sit on it and we'll go up?" And I was like, "No, I'm good. I'll walk up the stairs. I am fucking good."
Yeah, I'm okay.
How
Yeah,
did his neighbor survive? Like, I still can't figure this out. How did his neighbor survive? the first
That's a
three
very
months?
good question. Yeah, there's no way
Like,
that
that's the
person
biggest
survived.
plot hole. That's the biggest plot hole. Is how does a neighbor survive?
There's no way that person survives.
Not that.
No,
not
there's
what
no
happened.
way. I mean, I'm all for this. I'm all for a third part. I'm all for spin-offs. I'd love to see more of the Gremlin stories. There must be. You'd imagine there it
Like
could
the
go
origins
anywhere,
of
really.
Mogwai?
It could go anywhere, couldn't it? Really, it's been so long now from the last 2 movies, and
Well,
it
they
didn't
could.
really neither movie covered a huge amount of detail.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
could go
were.
back to
But you know what makes them so good? And there's nothing. A lot of horror movies don't take this on board, and the ones that are massively successful are the ones that embrace what they are.
Yeah.
Gremlins is pure popcorn entertainment. It knows it's popcorn entertainment, and it's not ashamed to be what it is. And a lot of the really good horror movies from various franchises to one-offs or whatever, those that are beloved and most successful are the ones that aren't ashamed to be what they are. And Gremlins is a prime example. It's pure
right.
popcorn entertainment, and that brought in best part $213 million, being
That's
pure
just-
popcorn.
Well, and that's just probably the box office and the re-releases as well, right? Because it's been re-released to theaters a bunch of times over the years,
Yeah.
remaster, all that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. But that's the key to it. It's the key to all this stuff. And you look at any series, any franchise, the ones that are the most successful are the ones where the people making them are fully aware of what they're doing, they're passionate about it, and they're not ashamed for what they're doing.
Right.
So on my page at the moment, I'm doing the Friday the 13th series. I know we talked about this before. So I released my review for the final chapter yesterday. No, today actually. The days mixed up. Today, the final chapter is so beloved because it knows exactly what it is, and it's not ashamed to be what it is. Part 6 is the same.
Yeah.
You look at any series, any franchise, when you've got people on board that are passionate about what they're doing, they're not ashamed of what they're doing, they're not doing it just for a paycheck. Those are the ones that go on to be the most successful.
See, and that's the difference between Rob Zombie's remake of Halloween and Halloween 2 is that the second one was definitely pushed by, the Hollywood, by the movie studio. Where the first remake, he was more cerebral because he was doing it because he wanted to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm a zombie fan, don't get me wrong, but I struggle to defend that second movie.
I can't. It was terrible.
No.
But that first remake was so good. And you can tell the difference. And you can tell that he was pushed into doing the second one. He even said in interviews that he was pushed to do the second.
He said, I believe the comments were something along the lines where he said no to it, and then X amount of months later saw somebody from Dimension who said, "Oh, it's not going well. We're really struggling with this, for that." And evidently the conversation was, I don't want to do it, but how bad will it be if someone other than me does it? Actually, it would have been okay based on the movie, probably, is the reality. But yeah, it's what happens, like you say, when the corporate cash machine kicks in.
It's like everything else, right? If you don't want to do what the hell people want you to do, it's
Well, again, like I say, I'm doing the Friday the 13th movies at the moment. Those movies were made. Every one of those movies were made for between 600,000-700,000 and $1 million. All of them bring in excess of 25 million, up until part 5, really. Yeah. But from there, like the final chapter was planned to be the final chapter, believe it or not. But then they realized that they were making, it was a money-making machine at that point, and Jason was growing by popularity constantly. So they carried on. But, if you can make something for $1 million and it's going to give you 30 back every year, why would you not?
What was the one that was right after the final chapter? Was that Manhattan?
No, that's part 8.
That's part 8.
Part 5 was after the final chapter, The New Beginning, which is bad, and that upset a lot of people. And then, sadly, although it made a lot of money out of curiosity, the sad reality is that part 6, which is fantastic, didn't make a lot of money. I think a lot of that was due to the feedback and upset from part 5. You find it all the time, like Nightmare on Elm Street 4 made so much money, not because it was amazing, but it was money that should have probably gone to part 3, but people were late to the show. So, yeah, and then again, you churn them over and churn them over and churn them. I think even the Manhattan one, part 8, I think that was made for just over $1 million, and it made about 19 million. But when they were used to making 30 plus every time,
right.
19 was sort of. Yeah, I mean,
that one got stupid in a lot of ways. Like,
but at one point,
you
make so many movies that you do it for the cult. You do it for the people that want to see it. It's like
Saw.
Where else do you go? We're at Saw 10 now, I think.
I believe so. Yeah, I've not seen the latest one.
See, Saw, embraced itself just like you said. It really embraced itself.
Seesaw. Nice. Yeah, I like the second one. Second one's great. Second one's second one's by far the best in the lot.
Needle Pit. The Needle Pit is.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Needle Pit. Yeah. Needle Pit all day long. I haven't seen the latest one. I'll be honest. I haven't seen it. I will see it, but I haven't seen it yet.
I saw it.
It's on the list.
I'm trying to remember which one I left off at. I think
I've seen them all. Yeah,
I think I made it to like 6 or 7, and I haven't seen any since then.
I have seen them. I've seen them all up to date, with the exception of the latest one. I saw Spiral. I've seen all the originals. I just haven't seen the latest one yet. But it'll be good. So, obviously, outside of the movies we've watched this week for the show, has anyone seen anything else this week that's decent? I was thinking this might be something we can do as well while we're talking away. Stuff we might have watched this week or this month.
I've been binge watching.
You've been busy.
You know what I mean? I've been sick, so when you're sick, you don't want to focus. So I just kind of slap the 100 on again because that's my go-to.
How many times have you seen it now? Have you seen it 100 times?
It's a great show.
I've never seen it. I'll be honest.
It's a great show.
Up and down. I mean, you get a few seasons where you're kind of like, but then it picks right up. I don't like how it ended. No spoilers, but
No.
My go-to
No, but
shows
the
are
first,
The
I mean,
100,
first season though is
Game of
by
Thrones.
far the
Yes.
best. By far
First
the best season.
first episode when they put the feet on the ground, when Octavia jumps from that drop ship and just fucking jumps on the ground, you know it's on. It's fucking on.
Yeah, she's a badass character.
You learn to love them. The people you hate at one point, you'll love at one point. The people you love at the beginning, you'll kind of end up hating, and that's what I like about that show. It's kind of like
You go
constantly.
You
I'll
go
see if I
through
can
it
find
with them.
it.
You go through it with them. It's a cool, like, Clark stuff. She pisses me off so much. So much stuff could have been avoided if Clark didn't make some of the decisions that she made. But
Yep.
then you wouldn't have the drama of the show.
There you go. Exactly. I watched. What have I watched this week? Obviously, apart from the movies that we've seen, I also watched The Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Okay.
Have you
Okay.
guys seen that?
I have not.
It's fantastic. It's a real slow burn. It's a horror. It's a full-blown horror, but it's a real slow burn that leads to, as these things do, leads to the ending, the epic ending. It's about a father and son, coroner and medical assistant, and they get a Jane Doe body in, and without spoilers for anyone, something's not right, and the more they delve into the autopsy, the weird things begin to happen around them. It's really great. It's Brian Cox and Emil Hirsch. Literally, it's two guys in a room. That's it. Two guys in a room and a corpse.
Okay.
Okay.
It's fantastic.
That I'm gonna have to watch that one. The one with Liam Neeson and Christina Ricci, Afterlife, that was similar to that, where he was making her think that she was dead when she wasn't.
Yeah.
That movie is fantastic. Liam Neeson plays a pretty scary bad
Yeah.
guy. But
it's a good movie.
you mentioning that reminded me of that one.
Yeah. So I watched The Autopsy of Jane Doe is very, very good. And it is similar. You're right. I remember seeing that movie with Liam Neeson. He's terrifying in that movie. I remember she wakes up and he's like, "What?" She's like, "What's going on?" He's like, "You're dead." And it's like, okay.
You have to see it. Like his performance is brilliant in this film.
Yeah,
like he is
true.
Scary.
It's
like,
true.
I would have not seen him as scary. Granted, Taken, but he's a good kind of scary in Taken. This was a serial killer, full blown scary Liam Neeson.
By Taken 4, I've been like, just take the bitch. I don't want her anymore. I'm sick of it. This is ridiculous. Just keeps getting cool. So I watched that. Yes, I watched The Autopsy of Jane Doe, which was great. I also watched. I'm getting ready for next year review-wise now, so I rewatched some of the better movies of this year. So my top 3 movies for this year, in no particular order really, were Infinity Pool, which is amazing, which is made by Brandon Cronenberg, David's son. And it's got Skarsgård in it and Mia Goth. And it's to do with cloning on an island. It's phenomenal. It's pure Cronenbergian. Like, you can tell the apple hasn't fallen far from the tree. So I highly recommend Infinity Pool. Talk to Me, which obviously made a fortune and was superb. Australian horror is much maligned, but it was great. And Where Evil Lurks, which is absolutely horrible. I generally wanted to gargle holy water as mouthwash after watching that movie.
Is that the new Evil Dead?
Kinda. It's Argentinian. There's definitely throwbacks to the Evil Dead, but it's horrendous. Like I say, I literally finished it and I was like, I could do with just gargling some holy water now, just to make me feel a little bit better about myself. Oh, it's subtitled, obviously. It is what it is. I watched it on Shudder. It's universally been called the movie of the year. I can see why. But it's not for the faint of heart. It's a hard watch. But it's great. Really good. Did I enjoy it more? Enjoy is a strong word. Is it better than Talk to Me? It probably is. Just about, but Talk to Me is very, very good. If you've not seen it yet, I highly recommend it. And Infinity Pool made no money, was not made to make money. It was a passion project. I don't even know if it had a theatrical release, but it's great. The premise of it is on this island, if you break the law, you are killed. You're executed. That's it. but they have clone. But if you have enough money, you can have yourself cloned, and the clone will take the punishment instead.
Huh.
And it's how the human condition deals with that sort of thing. I mean, obviously, Mia Goth at the moment is a tour de force in horror. She's brilliant in it. Skarsgård's really good in it as well.
Which Skarsgård?
The one from True Blood. I get them mixed up.
Okay.
He was Eric in True Blood, the older one. Yeah, not Pennywise.
That's Alexander.
Yeah, and completely different. The only other thing I watched this week, which was completely different, but also had a Skarsgård in it, was John Wick Chapter 4.
Okay, and which Skarsgård was in that one?
Pennywise.
Pennywise, Bill. Okay.
Yeah, Bill. Yeah. It's okay. More the same, really. If you've watched John Wick 1 to 3, then you know what you're getting. Keanu Reeves running around, chopping people up and shooting people for almost 3 hours, though. No one needs that. No one needs
3
a 3-hour John Wick movie.
Damn.
Almost. There was a fight scene in a nightclub.
I can't.
It was 30 minutes. I was like, this is great, and I was like, it's still going. It's still going. Like 30 minutes. It's ridiculous. So that was what I watched.
They're trying to embrace, because that's what that film is. It's just nonstop action. That's what they all are.
I mean, don't get me wrong. In terms of how it's made and everything, like Donnie Yen's in it. Donnie Yen's brilliant. In terms of how it's made and what it's made to do, can't argue it. It's top notch. But no one needs a 3-hour John Wick movie.
Nobody, no. 3-hour movies is too. Even for me, like the whole Lord of the Rings, fucking love the movies, but seriously, sitting there for so long is just ADHD brain, because I cannot. It's like
I can do it. I don't mind doing a movie.
A Harry Potter lover. She could probably watch like one movie after the other, and my ADHD brain is like.
See,
too much.
It's stuff like that actually calms that part of me, though. That's what's crazy. Like because I love it so much that I can just immerse myself in the world, and it allows me to just zone. And not very many things do that, but Lord of the Rings is one of those things that does that too.
I can do it. I can do a 3-hour movie, no problem. If I'm invested in it, but. Know your audience. Know your audience.
I did all 6 in a row at one point.
Oh, no.
All 3 Hobbits and the extended editions.
Yeah. To be fair, Hobbit, but those 3 Hobbits movie could have been one movie, right? Maybe 2 at a push.
After the amount of watches that I've had, I actually enjoy what he did with that, and all of the stuff from the appendices that he brought to life there. Because he told a lot of stuff that was never going to get told by anybody else. Like, he was the only person that could have pulled that off and brought those aspects of the Tolkien world to film. So I actually do appreciate that. Like, everything with Azog. I mean, he flushed out that story, because what's in the appendices is not. There's not that much there about Azog. Like, there's some information, but it's very, very basic. He took that character to a whole new level. Tauriel, which was created specifically for the Hobbit films, I actually like the dynamic that she brings to the film. A lot of people thought that her falling in love with the dwarf was stupid, but I mean, I kind of think it's kind of cool that they, kind of played on something different that was never in the Tolkien verse whatsoever. But I love it, and I even like the Ring of Power, like the Amazon prequel to all of this, which is in the Third Age, which I honestly wish they would have gone back just a little bit further and done everything with Morgoth, because that character is probably scarier than Sauron, in all honesty. And the fact that they had an army of Balrogs, and the Balrog that we see in the Fellowship of the Ring is actually a baby and a tiny one in comparison to the leader of the Balrogs in the actual story. I would have loved to have seen them bring all of that to life. So I'm still hoping that they're gonna go all the way back to the Second Age with Morgoth, but we'll see what happens. As you can tell, I'm a massive Lord of the Rings nerd.
Thing is, we live in an age of TV now. Amazon could do that. Amazon, when you're spending $5, $6, $7 million per episode on something, every episode's a movie, isn't it? They could do that. They could do it. That's where we are now. It's possible.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah. We live in the age of
comes
TV.
Back in 2024.
Yep.
So for me, I've been I'm writing a song. The final song to my album is called "Remember My Name," which is about Achilles. So I've been getting my hands on everything Iliad, everything like the movie Troy with Brad Pitt and stuff like that. I've been rewatching that over and over.
Not the worst movie in the world, by the way.
No, I love it. I actually love that movie. I think it's fantastic.
Reputation, but it's not the worst movie at all.
Right, his story, like if you're basing it on the Iliad, definitely made some major changes. You know, there's some major, but Wolfgang Peterson directed that one, and he did a really good job with that. But I've been watching that one multiple times just for the inspiration, because the lyrics of this song, it's very. I've combined metal and a musical together on this song. So there's a narrator that tells part of it, and then like the choruses and certain parts of the song are sung by Achilles, the character himself. So I had to get everything right, the timing, the diction, where all the syllables go. So it took forever to write the lyrics to that.
Yep.
So I've been watching that over and over again to finally finish that song and get that one into final production. So I've watched that, but then the other few things that I've been watching, I've actually been diving into some TV shows. Hey, he's alive!
Bob.
He's alive! For those of you who do not know, I'm just going to throw this out there. So Anger Overdose had their page removed from Facebook during this last big glitch, as well as several other prominent members of our independent community.
I'm going to tell you something. I had 3 strikes this morning when I woke up from Facebook from November 15th. They can't tell me what it is. They can't tell me what I posted, but my account hit 3 strikes today. This morning. So I think that's what's going on right now, is that they're hitting accounts for stupid, the AI, I probably wrote fuck or something, and then the AI is like, no, bad girl. So I think the AI is getting us.
I had not my page personally, but one of the pages I subscribed to, I had one this week, and it was inappropriate use of a word. And the word was horror on a horror page. Phishing at the moment. I get so many messages saying your account is about to be locked. Please log in here and blah blah blah. And I always go to Meta and they're like, no, it's phishing. Just ignore it.
Yeah, that's all phishing. When you get I got a message from Facebook because I am gonna be able to get money from my stars now. Finally, after like a year of fighting with them. They're going to send you a message, but you're also going to get a notification in your account that Facebook is messaging you. So don't get caught with those fake messages. No.
I'm going to speak to you offline about the stars thing, because I keep getting messages telling me that I'm eligible to start doing it now. Yeah. But I have no idea what it means, so I'll speak to you offline. That's cool.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
It means you can start monetizing your page. But anyway, what I was going to say is I don't know what you're planning on doing. But I don't know if you're going to be remaking your page. But anybody that's watching this, please go like their pages. Go check them out on YouTube. Go follow them on Spotify. Anger Overdose. We need to give them all the support since they lost their entire fan following with this glitch or whatever that's happened with Facebook.
I mean, Anger had 3K followers.
Yeah.
It's a lot to lose. This
year, it is.
We worked hard. Everybody worked hard this year. To see people just... And it's weird because Anger Overdose lost his real account, then he lost his page, and Ambrose, who is also in Anger, lost his page. So
DePitcha as well also
DePitcha lost his page. Retro Rob lost his page.
Retro Rob, yep.
It's weird. It's really weird, and it's
just random.
It doesn't seem to be hitting anybody else from outside the community that I know of, anyways. It's really weird.
I haven't gotten any messages. It looked weird. Like the first day it happened, like my news feed went blank just like everybody else's, and everyone was saying that was the sign that something was going to happen to your page. So I was like freaking out about it. And I'm like, no, not after the year. Like all the work and effort that we put in, the countless hours building, like not cool. Like we didn't do anything wrong. Like you didn't let us know we did anything wrong. So I mean, like it's not fair. Period.
Yeah.
So I hope that they're able to fight with Facebook to get their stuff back, because I feel like it's extremely important.
Well, I went through this earlier in the year. I don't know why. I don't know why they did it. There was no warning or anything, but literally overnight on a weekend, they removed me as admin to my own page. And I didn't have backup admins at this point. I was still learning as we go. So I lost everything. The page was there, but I couldn't add, I couldn't amend. It was literally just a dead page, and I was only a few months in, so I was probably about, I don't know, 400 or 500 followers, I guess. But even then, there's a lot of work.
Even
It's
trying
a lot
to fight with Facebook, they won't
3
do
weeks.
shit.
So it took me 3 weeks of back and forth with them. I had phone calls booked in. They actually contacted me. In the end, to get it back, I had to provide my passport, my driving license, a utility bill, all to prove that I was me. They would ask me questions such as, how many staff have you got and what are their salary? And I was like, have you seen my page? It's literally me writing about horror movies. Like, staff, like, what are you talking about?
Because
Like,
they consider us business
a
pages.
business, yeah. But so the final straw was I had to then get a letter confirming that I was the owner of the page. It wasn't a business in the actual sense of the word. It was a fan page. I had no staff. I had no taxation. Like, it was asking what my tax outgoings were every year and all this sort of stuff. I was like, I have none of this stuff. Like, it was freaking me out. And I had to get all of that notarized. It cost me £50. And in the end, I emailed it all off, and they literally just flicked a switch and gave me it back. That's all it took. That's all it was. It was literally flicked a switch and gave me it back.
That's the thing, is that they won't let him contest.
Did you see
he
that?
doesn't have access to no page.
Yeah.
So
I did it all through the Meta Business Suite. But they were like, "It's not your page. You have staff. How do we know it's your page?" I was like, "Look at the page. Look at it. It's some geeky guy's, fashion project about horror movies. Like, I'm not trying to change the world here. I don't have a staff of people writing for me. It's me."
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
So
but
they
three
won't let him
weeks.
test it at all? That's some bullshit.
No,
Yeah, that
they
is
won't.
bullshit.
He can't do anything. I know the picture logged in this morning or today, and they said something about the Instagram account that is linked to this account, to this Facebook account, goes against their standards.
See, it's very interesting because when I lost mine, it all came from, I was working on my page and it came up saying, reach more followers, link your Instagram account with your Facebook account. And I was like, well, that makes sense. So I clicked yes. And in the middle of it syncing, I got an error message. And then when the error message left, when it was gone, the pop-up had gone, that's when I'd lost my admin privileges. So in doing what they told me to, it chucked me down. It threw me out my own page.
His Instagram was like
So weird.
Instagram's still fine.
Yeah, it's so weird.
It sounds like they don't know what happened, to be honest, and that's the reason why they won't. They
Facebook
don't want to
said
admit they made a mistake.
They did something. They did something that was supposed to be done months ago, and they couldn't do months ago because of Meta. There was a problem if they were gonna do it. So what I think is that they went away. They went and they just said, "Fuck it, let's do it." And when they clicked for the update, I think AI went crazy, and you know what I mean? Like all those trigger words that they have to catch us, to give us, like you said, you got horror on a horror.
Yeah.
I mean,
content,
you know what
content warning. It wasn't a warning as such. It was a content warning, and it was a word. And you click on it to show the word, and it was horror on a horror. And I think the page I'm talking about is something called True Horror Fans, I believe is the page name. So within that, someone had posted about a horror movie, and it had got a content warning because they used the word horror. Like, you can't make it up. You can't make it up.
How can you get a content warning for using a public word?
Okay.
It's not copyrighted.
No, I know. It's
You
like
can't
when I do my
copyright it. It's public domain.
when I do my reviews, I can't use the word kill. I have to use anything and everything. I have to come up with something different. One, because it's boring otherwise, but two, I can't use the word kill. So I have to use dealt with or oft or, whatever the case may be, depending on the context of the movie. I write kill and it comes up content warning.
Look, just to give you an example, I got hit for something that I posted on Crossover, which is my old band. See? Wednesday, November 15, 2023. The post was made October 17, 2021. See what I mean? Like, we're getting hit for old stuff. See, here again. I was hit on November 15th again, and I can't see why. So this is what Facebook is doing to everybody right now.
That is nonsense.
Yeah.
For lack of a better way of putting it.
No, they're going to force a lot of people off of their platform. So congratulations.
Yep. That's the thing, isn't it? Like I hate that I'm so reliant on it, but it is the best method for me currently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've started to try to build my Instagram and my TikTok. Now that they have the musicians TikTok, I've put in my application to have that changed to a full-fledged musicians TikTok.
Nice.
So I'm hoping, because I have 1,000 followers, so and like I would meet all the requirements. So I'm looking forward to getting that TikTok all set up.
Cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, I know that was a big tangent.
Hey, what we do?
It's important to
What
talk
we do.
about because
It is.
it's a lot of people that we, you know, it's if my page would be gone, I'd be like,
I'd be devastated. I would be devastated. It's a lot. It's so much. Like my page is less than a year old, and I work really hard on it.
Right.
So to start again doesn't even bear thinking about. I mean, I could. I've got everything backed up. Every review is saved elsewhere, and so on. I wouldn't want to. I mean, you're losing so much traction.
That's it. You have to restart. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
If anybody that restarts their page, we're all there to help. Vox and Sticks is another big one that are going to help as much as they can. I've been seeing it. I talked to Christina. I mean, between all of us, you know, I'll start again just for spite and again and again.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Exactly.
I don't blame you at all. Exactly. That's the only way.
Get it going.
But
we'll get back to liking you.
We got to talk about all the movies we wanted to talk about.
We've covered a lot tonight, guys.
Yes.
We're
gonna be off now for the rest of the month. December is the Christmas with New Year's. We're not gonna try to bringing another episode, but we will be getting ready for January. I'm not giving out a schedule yet because I have to talk to the guys. I'm thinking maybe making it twice a month. We'll see. Yeah. We'll see what scheduling we can, we could fit in. And even if I can't be there, you guys can always have access to the StreamYard.
I don't know if we can be trusted.
Go on and go crazy and get me banned. But guys, thank you so much again for being here and talking about this. 2024 is going to be interesting for the podcast. That's all I could say.
Sure.
I'm starting to set up everything, and then we're going to have our edition, which I want to talk to you guys in private. We'll try to soup it up a little bit, maybe find ourselves a little intro instead of having the NYXUS podcast intro. Keith make music, so maybe we could work something out. Cool. Make something fancy. Absolutely. Whenever you want. Whenever you want. And if you guys have something you want to say, because we're not going to be back till after the holidays, so happy holidays to you guys and to your families. Lots of health, obviously.
Feel better soon, yeah? I know it's easier said than done. It's been a blast. Thank you, everyone, wherever you are in the world. And happy holidays from me and mine to you and yours.
And I'll echo that as well. This is, for a lot of people, this time of year can be tough. So I want you all to take care of you. Okay. Again, we stress mental health so much. All of us do. Right. So take care of yourself. Make sure that you're, in a good place, especially during the holidays. And if you're not, use your resources. You have friends here. My DMs are always open. With what I've showed you with things like Farewell, what I've been through, those of you who know me. Okay, so please don't let it get to that point. But I want you all to have a happy holiday, happy new year, and that's from my family to all of yours as well. And I can't wait to come back and do this again in 2024.
Absolutely. Stay safe, guys, and don't drink and drive. If you guys are going to fucking drink, don't take the wheel, please. There's so many accidents around Christmas time for people that, I'm fine, I only had a few drinks. Come on, be honest with yourself and save a life. If it's not yours, save somebody else's life. Anger Overdose says he is going to be doing his show next week, probably just on YouTube. I mean, I think it's the way to go for now. Anyways, till you have yours rebuilt.
Give all your friends the link so that we can post it, so that at least people on Facebook can get YouTube.
Absolutely. We'll help you as much as we can, and you know that. Guys, thank you so much again for being here. We'll see you guys in 2024, but I'll be talking to you guys really soon. Good night, guys.
See you guys.